Oh, Paul's certainly thinking you.
Yeah.
Paul's
It's 5 o'clock. I am going to call the special council meeting of Wednesday, May 31st, 2023 to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Amrine?
Here.
Mr. De Leon?
Here.
Mr. Ferrara?
Here.
Mr. Kuhar?
Ms. Rosenberg?
Here.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Here.
Mr. Sidoti?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Here.
The purpose of tonight's meeting is to legislate the second reading of draft number 2023-030. Would the clerk please read the ordinance in title only?
Draft 2023-030, an ordinance accepting a certain bid from Republic Services for the collection of refuse and recycled materials from city customers and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
No.
1, 2, 3,
Move
4,
adoption.
5,
Second.
6.
Suspension passes.
Suspension passes.
Heidi?
Yes, I would like to speak to this. First of all, I hear the next meeting is tomorrow, so it doesn't really give the public much of an option to comment. I really wanted to slow down the process, so we did this right. It appears that we've already bungled it a little bit, other than the bungling that we've managed to put into it. So people are now getting billed for this. We haven't even passed it. Melanie explained it to me that it was a mistake, and I get that. But this concerns me, the rollout concerns me, the way that we communicate with the public. I really wanted to give the public an opportunity to learn about this because, you know, I care what they think about this issue. People think, you know, we all know that the public cares about their trash, they care about their recycling more than just about any other service other than the roads, fixing the roads and snow plowing. Well, sidewalks, maybe. I think trash trumps sidewalks for most people. So, in light of the fact that we're really not giving the public much of a chance to comment, we're not all here, I've decided to go ahead and move the suspension so we can not continue this idiocy for another day. If it was another week, I would go for it because I think that would give people more of a chance to comment. So I'm going to say I'm going to vote against this. It's not going to probably impact the vote, but I want to say that I stand with our current system, and I think that there's enough blame to go around to many different parties for how this has transpired, but I still feel that it's important to support to stay with Portage County Recycling. So,
Amy, can I back up? Did we pass?
Suspension, yes.
Yes, but we did not
We still
ask
have
for
to vote.
adoption.
We still have to vote.
Oh, all right, that went down then? Now we can talk. Okay, please. Generally, you don't talk until the motion was to adopt.
We had that.
We had
Was-
a
it was?
second too, yeah.
Did I lose track?
I'm
Okay.
following the rules, Jerry.
Well, that's a
Who
good
made the
thing.
motion? Was it Garrett? Garrett.
Is there any other discussion? John?
As everybody else does, I feel bad for Portage County that they're losing a big customer. I've talked to a lot of people about this issue too, and everybody seemed excited that their recycling bill was going down. I don't know how much they love their trash and their recycling, but they're pretty happy to get a reduction in rates. And the only actually complaint I've heard from anybody was they want to know why the city has to control everything, why they can't choose their own trash collector. And basically, 3 or 4 different complaints, that's what it's been, but I haven't got any complaints about you letting Portage County Recycling go. So,
Further? Roger?
Yeah, you know, Heidi was one of the people who got me to change my mind about putting on the third floor over, if you recall. That, you know, I said, you know, maybe she makes a real valid point. And a few other people around this table made those points. Garrett and I kind of still alone on this idea. But I want, from my perspective, we had a number of people who stepped up and made a very cogent argument that why do we want to saddle, why do we want to spend an extra $500,000, even though it was going to be included in the total of the total millage or whatever that we bought. You know, we basically borrowed that money, spread over 30 years. Why do we want to spend an extra $500,000 for a room that would sit empty? That's just taking money out of the pockets of our citizens. Well, when we do the math here, they used 4,400 as the number of customers. 4,400 customers at $550 a month by Portage County. And by the way, Portage County has bigger issues than what we have here. That's $1,452,000. Where with Republic at $3 for 4,400. By the way, that's $1 million over the course of 5 years if they don't break the contract and they don't come back and ask move it from 550 to 650 or 750. And if you look at Republic's bid, it's 4,400 times three, times $3, and it comes out to about $792,000. Now, the $500,000 that very passionately many of us sitting on this table, not me, but many of us argued that why do we want to saddle our community? We are actually saddling our citizens individually out of their pocket if we don't. The difference is, I don't know if you do the math, it's $660,000 over 5 years, right out of the pockets. It's a regressive tax, if you want to put it that way, right out of the pocketbooks of our citizens. So I have a difficult time. I understand Heidi's, I understand her whole concept of what this is all about. But in my opinion, people, I have not run across anyone who, when you spell it out for them about the total number of dollars, they go, well, yeah, we want our bills to go down. I think that's pretty straightforward. The other issue that I would point out that as far as, and I think Heidi is right, it's not our problem that we have communications. It's the lack of coverage, the lack of coverage by local newspapers, the lack of coverage by people who, as we sat at a meeting last night, Glenn and I, we were just convincing how some people, they don't want to hear even when Jim did a wonderful job explaining some issues on a different thing, they just want what they want. So I don't see delaying it isn't going to change the legalities of it because we've already accepted the bids. Delaying it isn't going to change the numbers. I don't believe the numbers will be changed. That's $660,000. That's a lot of money. But I would argue this, that I think we do have to hold Republic accountable for billing snafus, the things that we're hearing about other issues. I think that we need to have that conversation once we get through this contract. I think we owe it to our community to listen to what their complaints are about their individual issues and then figure out how do we hold Republic accountable. Or, in 3 years, if I understand the contract correctly, in 3 years we can opt out if we can't seem to resolve those issues for our community. Well, I know we're going to go 2 years, right? No? 5 years total.
It's a 5 year.
Why does it say 3 and 1 and 1?
It says 5 years and then 3 one-year contracts after.
Oh, 1 year contracts. Okay. That's okay. Makes it clear.
Is that it, Roger?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to support.
Robin?
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the issue regarding what Heidi was saying about stringing it out one day, purely a political tactical move, which I'm supporting. I think that's exactly the reason you drag these things out. You expand the time so it creates a possibility that something may change. So, and I'm certainly not beyond that. And So I'm going to vote to, matter of fact, I thought, quite frankly, that in order for this to be brought up again, and apparently I'm not correct, that it would have to be brought up by one of the three that voted against it. One of the bigger issues right now for me is the ability of council to understand its province in this whole situation. Because some things got beyond me, and they must have got beyond some other people who were not supportive of us moving forward on that issue. I believe that the city administration and our service director did their job to a T. Have no problem with that. Informationally, I think that council, being at the head of the table on something like that, really, and I can speak for Robin, something got beyond me on this, because I would not have supported something coming to the table that we would have voted on that I had previously indicated in conversation wasn't about dollars and cents to me. It was about the historical linkage of this institution to this community, what it meant. Now, that's not pieces of gold to me. That's what previous people have done that have made this city one of the leaders in the environmental cause movement in this state. People look at us that way. I'm pretty sure Heidi wouldn't let that get beyond her. Or Tracy, that we would have misunderstood to the degree that we did, that allowed us to put ourselves in legal liability. Because quite frankly, I believe that there are at least two council people who did not vote their conscience on this, who looked at the liability issue either for the city or for themselves, and that's reasonable to me, that they would have taken that opinion. But what I'm saying is, we got to do some education on council to understand how we function and how these processes work, so we can do a better job of representing our constituents and the values of this community. I believe we're walking away from one of the values of the community. I don't believe this is highly that difficult a situation of dollars and cents. I believe people are willing to absorb that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would have voted my conscience on it and said, you know, I do not feel comfortable moving away from the solid waste district, because make no question about it, they are destabilized by this. Now, the things that we can do down the road, hopefully we'll be able to do, but and start rebuilding that relationship. What we've done so far, I see no problem right now with that contract as it relates to trying to ensure that our community gets the best value, dollars and cents wise. I think it's reasonable, and I think, like I said, I've told Melanie and Dave that there's no blame, or I'm not casting aspersions at them. I just don't know how it got by us as council, because I don't believe the council really, when it comes down to it, supports this contract over staying with the solid waste district. So I'm disappointed in that. But if tonight is the end of that, I have to accept it, not beating up on any of the council people or any of the staff or anything. We continue to work together to make this a better community, and we'll continue to do that. So I'm hopeful that when we get beyond this now, we can start working toward trying to identify ways to continue rebuilding a partnership with the solid waste district of Portage County.
Anybody else? Please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine?
Yes.
Mr. De Leon?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar?
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish?
No.
Mr. Sidoti?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
No.
Okay, the ordinance 2023-030 is passed.
Okay, thank you. We're adjourned. There will be no meeting tomorrow.